And to manage oral bacteria, I initially tried to implement chlorhexidine rinses into my practice. This was difficult for me because patient compliance really wasn't great. Although I liked the concept of changing the oral ecosystem to a healthier one, if patients were experiencing extrinsic staining or taste changes or any of those negative side effects, they wouldn't comply with my recommendations. In addition, there was a strict protocol when rinsing, and it had to take place outside a 2-hour window with fluorides and other pastes that contain calcium and phosphates and proteins. And so this was another barrier for compliance. For me, it's really helpful that Cervitec Plus is now available to us because it's a varnish that contains chlorhexidine diacetate, which is different. It's a completely structurally different compound than chlorhexidine gluconate, which we're used to in our rinses. And this varnish is also coupled with thymol, which offers antimicrobial properties, just like the rinse, without the negative side effects. There's no staining that occurs with a chlorhexidine varnish as it would do with a rinse. So just like other varnishes, and if you're familiar with fluoride varnishes, this is a similar concept. It contains ethanol and water as a solvent. So it's important to mix the varnish for a good 30 seconds before applying it to the teeth. This gives the ethanol a chance to evaporate off so it can be applied to the teeth. And if you have patients complain about their varnish, whether it's a fluoride varnish or any varnish for that matter, burning them, it most likely wasn't mixed well. So it's a well-spent 30 seconds to give it a good mix before applying to the teeth. Now, Cervitec Plus comes with specific indications. Its indications include occluding dentinal tubules, which will seal exposed root surfaces and result in the minimization or the elimination of dentinal hypersensitivity. I found that there really isn't one magical product that works for all patients. I like having a few different tools that can be applied in the office or taken home by the patient to give them the maximum impact. But anecdotally though, patient acceptance is pretty high with this varnish, and patients often report a reduced sensitivity experience after they've had this varnish applied to their teeth. Cervitec Plus is also FDA approved to reduce bacterial activity on tooth surfaces. We'll talk about this a lot more in just a little bit. Another cool feature about this varnish is that it comes in 2 delivery systems. You can get individual applications or a bottle where you can dispense your own amount. My hygienist prefers the individual doses because most of the time when she applies Cervitec Plus, she'll provide a generalized application over all of our patients' teeth. For me in my room, I personally like the tube because I can dispense as much or as little as I'd like, and I usually apply it locally in an area where I'm working, and I only may need a drop or so. So this way, if I had the individual doses and that was the only thing I had, chances are I'd either be wasting the material or I would just say forget it and just apply it all over the patient's mouth, which again would be fine too. But I tend to use it more locally, whereas my hygienist uses it kind of more generally.